Welcome to the Average Me channel. I'm Mark, and in this video we are going to once again talk about Walt Disney. This time it's a bit of a conflict, Disney versus the state of Florida. As a person who resides in Florida, and as a person look around me, I do like Disney. I really hate to see what's going on right now between Disney and the state of Florida. And quite frankly, I don't understand the actions that the Walt Disney Company is taking. So let's talk about what I'm referring to. There was a recent legislation here in Florida, and it was regarding education and what should be taught to young kids, essentially grades kindergarten through 3. And for whatever reason, the Walt Disney Company decided that this is the one law, the legislation that they were going to raise up against and said they're going to do all they can to fight to make sure that it's repealed. Disney's been here for 50 years. And as far as I know, through all the conflict and turmoil and laws and legislations and, social change that has happened, this is the first time that they have gotten so political that they are threatening to take action against laws that, the state of Florida and its residents have put in place. Now, whether you agree with the law or disagree with the law is largely irrelevant to this discussion and this conversation. I'm more intrigued with what's happening with the Disney Company, because they have done some really strange things. You saw my past video where I feel like I'm essentially locked out after years and years of being an annual pass holder. I moved down here to Florida and I felt like finally I can spend a lot of time at Disney. I can't even buy an annual pass right now other than the lowest level, which only lets us in on weekdays. Well, I'm 3.5 hour drive from Walt Disney World and I work. So, going there for a weekday isn't really much of an option. So, what the state of Florida responded with, not really retaliation. In fact, the governor said this isn't retaliation, but we should really look at why Disney is getting such special privilege. And what he was referring to is the Reedy Creek Improvement District. So in order to understand what this is all about, let's talk about what Reedy Creek is. Reedy Creek was established back in the mid-60s. I believe it was 1967. It was when Walt Disney World was being built. And I believe Walt was still involved with this district leading up to it. And it essentially created its own district or its own government for Walt Disney World. So Walt Disney World has its own little town, if you want to think of it that way. What does that mean? Well, it still has to follow the rules of the state of Florida, but it kind of circumvents them. For example, all the people that run it are elected by the residents of the Reedy Creek District. Well, who is that? That's Disney, because Disney owns all the land in the Reedy Creek District. Now, as they elect people to the board, they are allowed to buy a plot of land, and then when they leave the board, they sell it back to Disney. So they are really getting a lot of special privilege. Do they give anything back? Absolutely. They're a big employer, and they're taxed and everything else. But there are a lot of things they don't have to abide by. For example, if they want to build a 500-foot fiberglass castle, they can do it. They have no zoning restrictions except what Reedy Creek says they have, and Reedy Creek is essentially Disney. So Disney taxes itself in order to build things, which is really just saying we want to build this. So it's just going through the motions. They control the entire thing. Governor DeSantis feels this is kind of unfair to every other business in the entire state. And furthermore, he stated that why should all these executives from California threaten laws that are taking place in Florida The citizens of Florida should be making those decisions. Good, bad, agree, disagree. We can go through the political process here in Florida is his position. What happened? Well, Disney, in essence, threatened to, well, they didn't in essence, they did. They said they're going to do everything in their power in order to see that that law is repealed. And in response, people have suggested, some lawmakers, that they should repeal the Reedy Creek Improvement District. And that would not be good for Disney, because now every time they wanted to build something, they would have to face zoning boards and commissions, and they're not paying, government impact fees, for example, and they would have to do that. And I think, I don't understand, why did Disney decide to rattle this cage? Now, do I think Reedy Creek is going to be dissolved? No, I don't. But why did it even have to come to this is my question. Why can't they just operate a theme park and not have to get involved in controversial issues? It really is irrelevant to operating a theme park that many people have grown up with and love. And now I think a lot of people feel like they're really not welcome. And it's not the community that Disney used to serve, which is, families and the general public.
I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together.
So why would they even talk about Reedy Creek? Well, I think it's sort of like the movie. Do you remember the movie Crocodile Dundee? Not a Disney movie, by the way. And a couple of young muggers came up, they pulled out a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Do you really think Crocodile Dundee was going to do something with that knife? No, he was making a point. And his point was, be careful who you threaten, because I probably have a more, in this case, dangerous or more powerful tool than you have. And I think that's really what the state of Florida is saying, is Disney, be careful who you're threatening, because we have more power, and that power is to repeal the Reedy Creek Improvement District. Will they do it? I kind of doubt it. I don't think that they would do it. But the point is, I think they were showing them, you're not in the same position you were 50 years ago. They're not going to pull out now. The state of Florida knows that. They've got way too much invested. They can't just stop Walt Disney World. And in fairness, Universal, for example, there's a lot of other parks here. Universal doesn't have a special district. They have to live within the laws and rules of the city of Orlando and the county and the state. Disney really doesn't have to. So it's just one more of those weird things that I feel Disney's doing. It interests me because, as I said, I live here in Florida, and I've always been a fan of Walt Disney World. So what do you think? Do you think that Disney is poking a bear when it doesn't have to? Do you think that the state of Florida is issuing empty threats? Or do you see validity in either of those sides? I would love to hear what you have to say about this one. Personally, I'm very disappointed. I'm sorry that it even had to get to this point. Well, thanks for joining me. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner. And don't forget to ring that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for joining me. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me Channel.